How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Fred-BRICKS-burg, my custom Texas Lego town. I know last video I said I was going to move over to the residential here out front. However, when I was starting to build those houses, I had to do a few redesigns as my digital designs did not work. So I had to order some more parts for that. So while we are waiting for those parts to come in, I figured let's go ahead and build another building on the back row here, which will be the Patton building. So let's do that today. The Albert Lee Patton building was built in 1897 by Albert Lee Patton, obviously. He built this limestone building next to his general mercantile and hardware store. The ground floor of the building had a bank, and upstairs is where the residence was. I already have a bank in my town, so I'm going to be turning the ground floor into a library, and then upstairs we'll go ahead and do the residence. So we're going to start with a half base plate. Went ahead and tiled off the sidewalk, and this one is actually going to be lifted up one plate, because I mentioned in the last video this is going to be 20 studs wide, so a little more than a half base plate. If I go ahead and take the floor here, you can see that it's going to stick over 4 studs, and I accounted for that on the Horster building. Flooring is going to be just a wood floor because it's a library inside and make it look nice. And this tan ingot part here, it's going to be an inset for those windows that you saw on that real picture. There we go. Sticks over. It looks a little weird, but being one plate high like that, it'll be able to account for that and just rest right next to the gap on the Horster building next to it. For the wall is going to be using more tan masonry because it's another limestone building. And I'm going to be using dark green for the doors and windows. I really like this building. I'm not sure why, other than the front look of the facade and then just that dark green color scheme. Side building is pretty plain. I do have a clock and a little painting of a ship on it. Moving inside, I'm going to put a little counter with a stack of books in the corner. Next to that is going to be the librarian's desk. Use some facet bricks for that. Have a stack of books there and then a little cash register. Then next to that, I'm going to have a little reading desk. Got 3 lamps to read by. It looks like someone's reading a newspaper there. And then just 2 little reading stools. And then in the corner, a spiral staircase to get up to the second floor where the residence is. There we go. Looking good so far. But it's a library, so we're definitely going to need some bookcases. Going to go ahead and put on the other side wall. Very plain. All right, let's fill up this empty area with some bookcases. So for the bookcases, I just used a brown frame, and then I put a bunch of random 1x2s and a few 1x2s with the door rail to make it look like a book was sticking out. I used, like 6 different colors or so, 6 or 7, and I just kind of put them in there randomly. Hopefully that'll look nice. Put 3 along the back wall here, or side wall, and then 2 more in the center. These have some books sticking out on both sides. Put a little ladder there. Someone's reaching up trying to get a book. And then another short bookcase in the center. Got a couple books stacked on it and a little cat roaming around the library. There we go. Tons of books in the library. I guess it could be a bookstore too. Library bookstore. It is packed and stacked, looking good. Reading area on the side with the counter, and lots of books in the bookcases. Front we have the windows, and they jut in like that. Little entryway. And then I'm just going to put these plates here for some little accent, because the windows aren't quite full length in the real building. I think that gives the right look. For minifigures, I have this painter lady. Looks like she's having a hard time trying to find the book she needs for her painting. Then I have this little girl. She's one of the daughters from the family that lives upstairs. I'm going to put her on the ladder reaching for a book. And then I have this lady as her mom. It looks like she's yelling out at her daughter to be careful up on that ladder or just to get down. There we go. We have the painter lady, the daughter up on the ladder, and then the mom yelling at her to get down. Out front, I have a white corrugated awning with a dark green trim. Those are on just the flat hinge plates, which I wish they still made. I don't know why they stopped making those. Then I have green lampposts for the columns of the awning. I have 3 here. There'll be a 4th one that's on the edge of the Horster base plate. And then just a couple wedge plates on the corners here to fill in the gap. I had to put those bracket pieces on the front facade so that they'd be flush on the sides, but yeah. And then around back there's going to be a tall 2-story balcony here. So I just made that out of dark green. Use those Technic connector pieces. I'll just put those on some posts. There we go. Pretty good bookstore or library. Now we're going to go up to the second floor. Starting off the second floor with some plates and an opening for the staircase. Back wall looks similar to that first floor. Clear doors and windows with dark green frames. And then the side wall is a little hard to do because, well, you'll see in the front I had to do something different for the techniques, which put a lot of these off like half a stud. So I got some jumpers here and tiny little gaps here, not that bad, but everything's kind of shifted as it goes up. But it works out and it's pretty sturdy once you get on there. For the interior, this is going to be the residence of the bookshop owners. Start off with a simple kitchen. Got a stovetop with a pan and a sink with a water tap. Probably should have started with the railing around the staircase opening. In the corner here, I have just some table and chairs, pretty simple. And then a nice big couch for the living room. I took this design from another Lego set, can't remember which one. There we go. For the other side, got another wall that looks just the same as the first side. There we go. And then the front facade is actually going to go over to the sidewalls and be permanently connected. So it's going to be a little hard to access this front area. That's why I made a breakaway wall with just some jumpers there. Got 2 doors for the 2 bedrooms, and on the middle I just put up a little child's drawing from one of the kids. And then a wall in between. It's really big just because I wanted it to be even-sized rooms, so I made it 2 studs wide. The parents, or the master bedroom, is going to be on this side. So bed, went with a dark red color scheme as you saw from the couch earlier. And a dresser. Another dresser in the kids' room. And I have a little kids' bed for each of them. I got one of them with the covers folded back. There we go. 2 bedrooms, along with the main room. Now for the front facade, I had a lot of details. Redoing these buildings, the funnest part and hardest part is always doing the facades, the front, to make them look like the actual buildings. So this one, I have, whoops, it's a little delicate until I put it in place. More masonry bricks with the dark green windows, obviously. I have some arch pieces for the detailing there, and some door rails on the bottom. For this, I actually put a row of 1x2 tiles. You'll see why in a second. That was really hard to get those aligned straight because tiles are empty underneath, whereas the jumpers have that middle stud, so it was hard to align all those. And then I put a couple brackets on the inside in order to have these connection points on top. And let me go ahead and attach this, that way I don't have to hold it. And then up top, to fill in this gap, what I did is got a lot of jumper plates and just alternated them like that. And then I'm going to place some sideways and connect it to that weird modified brick bracket thing I set up. Now you can see that has a really cool texture. But this actually created half of a plate thickness difference, which is actually the same thickness as a base plate. So for the roof part, and this is why it has to be permanently on there, I used a tan base plate, but just so that way it would fill in the thickness. You might not even notice it, but it seems necessary when I was designing it digitally. There we go. We have a nice textured front facade there with the little arches for the top part. And then I even had the little jut out right there. That took a decent amount of time to design in digital just for that design and then getting the height, and then that caused all these half stud offsets on the side all the way back to here, and it was just a lot of work. And now you can see why I use that removable wall to get to the bedrooms, because it's going to be really hard to get to there. Not that I'll be taking it apart, but I wanted to have access to that if I wanted it. And that's the same reason why I have a little removable wall on the back here, just for easier access. Might not be necessary, but I thought it would be helpful. And then we'll continue that balcony from below. Oh, actually, this goes onto the below balcony, so I can't do that quite yet. But I can add the roof, which is pretty simple. It overhangs on this side just a little bit. I think because of all the half stud increments. There we go. I had that slope on the back as well to match the front, and you can see just adds a little texture on the top, which is good. So we'll go ahead and add the second floor to the bottom floor. Looking pretty good. Let's turn that around real quick and finish this balcony. It attaches to that first floor balcony, like I said. I guess this isn't a balcony, this is just the awning to the balcony. That goes down, and this should just angle over. So a skinny balcony. I didn't want to go all the way to the end of the base plate, but just adds some more of that green color that we've been using. Sides, nothing too special. And then the front. I am really happy with how that detailing worked out. I think it looks just like the one in real life. And you can see why I needed it to be 20 studs, just to get that the window spacing correct so it would match the original. And I think the 20 stud design actually worked out well, because if I take this off, I really like how much room it gave on the interior. So I think 20 stud wide buildings are way better than 16 stud wides. I might have to start doing that more in the future. Here we go, the Patton building. Got a bookstore / library, I guess, on the bottom. Let me know which one you think it should be. And then a nice family residence on top. I don't think I've ever mentioned it with my other MOCs before, but just in case you're interested, this had 1,737 pieces. I think it turned out really great. I really like the detailing on the front there. I think it looks pretty accurate compared to the real life building. All right, there you go. The Patton building's in the town next to the Forrester building. You can see how it overhung that on the Forrester base plate. Turned out great. I like that wider building. As you can tell, we are running out of room, so we're gonna have to move or relocate Alt Build Avenue here because it's kind of immersion breaking and I just need more room. But we got one more building done, and hopefully those parts I needed for the houses will come in and we can do the residential area next time finally. I've been saying that for a while, but that is my plan. But the back stretch is looking great. Let me know what you think of the Patton building and any ideas you might have for the town. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.